Okay, that lovely American lady.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, so obviously most of us know each other. We just quickly round the table introductions for anyone, because I know in particular perhaps it's Alan's first visit to our meeting here. So yeah, I'm Sonia, Advice Service Manager at Citizens Advice Worcester and Herefordshire. So obviously looking at, as well as the Macmillan team, looking after some of our other teams as well. So I'll start at the top of my screen, which top left happens to be Lynn. Would you just like to introduce yourself, Lynn?
Hi, I'm Lynn Godwin. I'm advisor at St Richard's Hospice, obviously working for Sonia.
Lovely, thank you. And Sally?
Hey everyone, it's Sally. You all know me because I send out the invites to these meetings. I'm a case support worker for Macmillan Citizens Advice.
Sally, and next I've got Anne.
Yes, hi everyone. I'm the Financial and Welfare Advisor at Kemp Hospice in Kidderminster. So similar sort of role to the Citizens Advice.
Thank you. And then I'll go back around. It's Chris. You're next on my screen.
Hi, Chris Byrne here, Health Watch. So we keep a close eye on what's going on, hence the name really, Health Watch. So I'm the cancer lead locally for Worcestershire, and we've exchanged emails with Alan over a couple of things. So hi Alan, nice to see you face to face.
All right, lovely. Next on my screen is Alan. I know you're going to tell us a little bit more about your service here, perhaps in a minute when we've done introductions, but perhaps you just want to say who you are for now, and then we'll go around.
I'll come back to that. So yeah, I'm Alan Warnock, fairly new in post, and I'm the Macmillan Community Engagement Officer based at Kirkham House with the ICB.
Lovely, thank you. And then Lisa.
Apologies if I keep going in and out, because I don't know if anyone else is feeling that the connection isn't working, whether it's just me. But yeah, I'm a welfare benefits advisor based at the Kidderminster office, and I've been in post since October.
Lovely, thank you, Lisa. I've got Claire next. You're there, Claire?
Morning, everybody. Apologies, I don't know why the camera's not working here. I don't know why. I've been trying to sort it out, but it's not playing. But I'm here with Kim today. So I'm the Macmillan Information Support Service based at Support lead at Worcester Royal, and Kim here is sitting next to me.
Hi everyone, I'm Kim Smart. I am the Macmillan Sport and Information at Kidderminster Hospital, and that is in the north.
Lovely, thank you, ladies. We've got t'other Claire as well, Claire Williams.
Good morning, I'm Claire.
No, can't hear.
Yeah, it's very poor sound there, Claire. I don't know whether you're...
I'm in the office.
Perhaps we'll come back to you and try again, but yeah, there's obviously something with your connection there. Yeah, okay. But yeah, Claire is Macmillan Living and Beyond Cancer, CNS. Okay. Jeanette, you're next there.
And I'm the Operations and Delivery Manager at Herefordshire and Worcestershire ICB, and my special focus is Living with and Beyond and the PCFU pathways.
Joe, you there? Joe Appleby.
Hi, I'm Joe. I work for Citizens Advice with the Macmillan team for benefits at Hereford.
Lovely. I've got Andrew.
Hello, I'm Andrew. I'm one of the benefits advisors at Worcester Citizens Advice.
Thank you. Last but not least on my screen, Teresa.
Hi everyone, sorry, my camera's not working yet because I've messed about with a few different things. I'm a benefits advisor working with Lisa out of Kidderminster Bureau. Yep, so that's me. Hi, Anne. You can't see me, sorry. Next time I'll have sorted it out.
Yeah, we've had a few people with cameras. The last few meetings I've been on that cameras not working or connecting. But anyway, so yes, introductions done. Thank you all. And yes, as I mentioned, just briefly going around there, Alan Warnock is in a new role, and he just wanted to sort of make himself known and explain a little bit more about that. If you would like to just let us know, then Alan, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I've met some of you before. I've met you, Sonia, haven't we? We've met before, and Chris and Claire, Arthur. So there's some people I know around it. So yeah, I've been in post since January. I am part-time, so I cover the Worcestershire side of the role. There's also a Herefordshire half of the role as well, but we haven't been able to recruit to it yet. So the roles are based in the ICB. They're funded by Macmillan. It's a 3-year project. And essentially, it's a health inequalities project. We're trying to understand the barriers. Well, in this instance, what we've done, actually, just to go back a little bit, it was broadly conceived as a health inequalities project. But what we've done in the last sort of 3 months is really tried to focus it down a little bit and sort of, you know, reduce the scope a little bit, because obviously health inequalities is a massive, you know, scope. And the areas that we could look at living with and beyond cancer. We could look at early diagnosis, screening and awareness, and that's what we've chosen to do. But that's not to rule out also looking at living with and beyond cancer. But our initial focus is definitely looking at screening and early diagnosis, and we've also decided to focus in on some specific populations, and that would be the Southeast Asian population, and the Gypsy Roma traveller communities. So that's what we're focusing at initially. I'm kind of old enough to realise that if we struggle with some of these engagement opportunities, if other opportunities come up, I'm open to suggestions as well, because there's going to be some major challenges at engaging with those groups. However, that's our kind of starting point. And the essence of the project, as I said, is really to understand the barriers. Sonia, did I send round I've done a sort of a 1-page overview of the project. I don't think I sent that out to the group. I don't think I did. What I can do, sorry, I've just realised that I see the integrated care board coming up. That, my sincere apologies if I'm using acronyms. I'm the first one to call them out. So yeah, the integrated care board, the NHS essentially, at Kirkham House. So there is I've done a 1-page sort of overview. So what I'll do is I'll either send that to yourself, Sonia, just to send it round the group, or Sally, and people can get a bit more detail. But yeah, so as I said, the essence of the project is really to engage with Southeast Asian communities, and I suppose the most significant ones are around Redditch, sort of Smallwood area, and Worcester City, sort of Fort Royal area. So I will take a really kind of wide-based approach in terms of, you know, engaging with those communities. If I can find community leaders, community activists that I can engage with that will sort of help me to reach into those communities, then that's the approach I will take. One of the things in terms of our methodological approach, if you like, what we're doing is we're going to try as much as possible to recruit either people who are working with those communities or people who are members of those communities to do a bit of kind of peer research or community researcher type approach. And we're using an approach called community reporting, which is using handheld like smartphones, audio and visual sort of recording. So we've got some training on that coming up. So to get to the point, my sort of ask of the group is, do you have any contacts in those communities that you'd be willing to sort of introduce me to? And secondly, are there any people either in this group or that you know of who would maybe benefit and be able to use that training and help the project as part of the role? So I think that's everything. I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
One of our engagement officers, Alan, is interested in doing that training. So
Yeah, that's great. And I've picked up with Sally and Margaret.
yeah, Margaret in particular, yeah.
Yeah, great. Because again, I think Margaret covers the Wyre Forest area, doesn't she?
That's right, yeah.
So again, up around Stourport, I think there's significant populations of travelling communities. So yeah, that would be great. I think Susie emailed me, so I've tried to set up a meeting the next couple of weeks to chat it through with them.
Good.
But yeah.
Good. Yep.
What I'll do is I'll send a little one-page overview of the project, sort of planning a page type approach, and I'll also send round a little bit of information about community reporting, which is the kind of community research approach that we're using, so people have got a bit more detail and can, and also just, if anybody's got any questions either today or afterwards, then please get in touch.
Thank you, Alan. I think because I was discussing this a little bit with you before, and I think the Welfare Benefits Service, Citizens Advice Run, I feel there definitely seems to be some inequalities. I would say, looking at our client profile, some of the communities you're talking about don't really reach our service. I don't know where the block is. I mean, Claire Arthur, Joe, or I mean, they don't come, it's before the referral stage, isn't it? I can't get my words out. I don't know whether they're accessing even the care to start with, to actually getting to the hospital, and so they're therefore seeing one of you at the information hubs. I mean, what are your thoughts, Claire or Joe?
I mean, we've had a sort of discussion around this. I have to say they're fairly few and far between, I've got to say, in terms of drop-ins in the hubs. I know, Alan, that at the CNS forum that we had last week, Ben highlighted your project to all the CNSs, so that hopefully, to be on the lookout for contacts, really, that we could feed back to you for patients that come in. But no, you're right, Sonia. I have to say that most of our referrals, whether they be email referrals from the CNS groups or clinicians or drop-ins, are white UK.
Yeah, that's what we're
you
finding.
concur with that. So there is certainly something to look at there, isn't there?
Yeah.
In terms of them bringing themselves forward, whether they're sort of keep to themselves within their own communities to support within families, but there is certainly a piece of work.
I don't think our service doesn't match the demographics of the city or the county, I don't think. But yeah, but I would say that's true to the whole of Citizens Advice Service. All the other inquiry areas we deal with, we have predominantly white UK British, which I think is part of a whole wider issue of accessing services in general. Okay, that's very interesting, Alan. It sounds like a very worthy project, and or the group will think of any contacts that might help you get it started.
That's great. I mean, I think one of the things that will happen is that, as both of you have suggested, is that we may struggle to get contacts through services, because it's almost like a chicken and egg, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're not engaging with the services. So that's why I'll take my background's in community development, so I will take a much more sort of broad approach to it, and find community leaders that then might lead on to people. And you're absolutely right, Claire, about you can imagine, like in the Gypsy Roma traveller community, for example, they've got really such strong networks within their families and communities, and the support probably comes from within that. But at the same time, also a lot of the desk research I've been doing is that a good examples of the Gypsy Roma traveller communities. There's some strong cultural beliefs around cancer. So for example, that if you interfere with cancer, it makes it worse. For example, like if you operate, then it spreads quicker. These are some of the beliefs among some of the Gypsy Roma traveller community. So yeah, you can see that. So I suppose the ultimate point is that we don't know what we don't know. So that's why we want to engage and find out and that's what the research, if you like, is all about.
Yeah.
Lovely, thank you. So, yeah, perhaps if we just have a little bit of an update going round. Lynn, any news from St Richard's? What's going on there at the moment?
Hi everyone. As probably everybody knows, Safia left at the end of March. So St Richard's are just looking at all recruitment at the moment. So we haven't had a definite about going forward in terms of replacing. I think those kind of conversations are only sort of happening nowish at the end of April. Post new financial year, so I can't really give an update at the moment, Sonia, I'm afraid.
Yeah, no, that's fine. You're just finding you're busy as ever with referrals and people coming.
I have to say, last year was felt manic, and Safia was off a little bit before she left, so that was busy. Post Easter, and I say this touching wood because it'll all go wrong now. I say it has been quieter. So it's starting to build up now, but they're just upgrading literally all of their patient systems today. So there is no access to patient systems today and tomorrow. So I think everybody's focus has been very much on that, really. It's taking a lot of time. Hopefully it will be a better system, but yeah. So I think the focus of a lot of people's attention has been very much on that at the moment. So yeah, it's enough, and it's given me a chance to catch up, which is really great. So I feel in a better place than I was, and we'll see going forward. I don't know what the answer is. As you know, I've increased to 4 days a week at the moment, and we'll see where that goes, really.
Okay, lovely. Yes, obviously we're working on all of your circumstances there, Lynn. Yeah, all right, lovely. Thanks for the update. So, Chris, would you like to bring us up to date with anything that you'd like to raise?
Yeah, I've got a couple of things for you today. First of all, I've got some builders in, so if it begins to become really noisy, I may go off on mute for a while because they're right on the other side of that wall there, but I'll carry on. So, can I share my screen for the easiest way to do it? You're happy with that? Okay, I'll just do that. Let me see if this works. Okay. Is it working? I am clicking on share screen, doesn't seem to be doing anything. Host disabled participant screen sharing. Have you control over that, Sonia?
It's not telling me, so let me just have a look.
Host disabled participant screen sharing. There's probably
No, it's not telling me that I've got to give you access.
If I click on share, I get a message that says host disabled participant share screen sharing. Not to worry, I can talk through it. So I'll just talk through it. Health Watch have got a meeting on the 8th of May. It's a public board meeting and a quality summit. So it's open to all of you and anybody else that you think might be of interest to come along to the meeting. 9:30 to 1 o'clock. I'll put the information in the chat. It's at the Worcester Amateur Rugby Club. And basically, it's a chance to talk to a panel of senior leaders about the quality of health and social care services in Worcestershire. We've got the Herefordshire and Worcestershire Health and Care Trust coming along, and the CQC are talking about how they do their inspections. We're also going to have a brief overview of the Worcestershire Adult Safeguarding Board's annual report. And if you'd like to come along, as I said, I'll put the link into the chat and everything, and there will be lunch as well. So the reason for bringing that to your attention is that Health Watch Worcestershire rely on people engaged with health and social care in order to do our jobs, because we talk to the decision makers in the NHS, so we need to know what's going on. So it's a good way for you guys to sort of get involved a bit more with the people who actually make the decisions and hear what they have to say and ask them questions, basically. That's the advantage of that. So please come along. And like I said, once I've stopped talking, I'll put all the information into the chat. The second point I wanted to raise is that the way that Healthwatch Worcestershire works is we have what we call reference and engagement groups. And that's basically charities who work in Worcestershire associate themselves with Healthwatch. And they come along to our meetings, they help us decide what our focus should be for the coming year. And it gives us points of contact that we could share with other people. So, for example, I've been able to share some contacts with Alan that might help him in his project. And basically, we got those because of the people who are in our reference and engagement groups. Now, there's one area where we need more contact, and that's the cancer area. So we would like, if possible, and obviously we're doing this from our side as well, but we would like breast cancer charities, prostate cancer charities, colorectal cancer charities, any cancer charity involved in cancer to contact us and become part of our reference and engagement group. So I'm the contact for that, so I'll put my information in the chat as well. So if you'd like to pass that information on to your contacts, get them to give me a call or email me, and I'll have a chat with them about what's involved. It's basically a networking opportunity based on cancer, so that we bring the information that is out there in the county about what's going on into Healthwatch Worcestershire. So I'll stop talking there. Any questions on that?
I think that sounds, you know, as you say, Chris, you
Got a question. I was just trying to, it's a long time since I've used Zoom, and I was frantically searching for the hand up button, but I couldn't find it.
No, I don't usually use Zoom.
Yeah, I'm so used to using Teams. It's
Yeah.
unusual. So I'm like, yeah, I'm a bit rusty in Zoom. Yeah, so I was just going to ask, Chris, I know you mentioned some specific cancers here: breast, prostate, colorectal. Is it all cancers?
All cancers, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I just got somebody I spoke to recently from Blood Cancer UK are doing some research, so they might have something local, but
we have two groups at the moment. Overcome, which is ovarian cancer.
Yep.
And the Swallows Head and Neck Cancer Charity, which is the one that I'm part of that actually as well. So so that's me with my other hat on. So but we kind of realised that it'd be, you know, we do need more cancer charities to be part of what we do. So okay, thank you, Sonia, and I'll start.
Does that include the support groups as well?
It does, yeah, it does, yeah, very much so, yeah. You know, because if you think about it, we're part of the West Midlands Cancer Alliance group, and Simon Adams, who's the MD of Healthwatch, sits on that group. So it's quite useful for us to sort of have contact with individual organisations, because you guys know more about what's going on individually than we do. But we try to take that information, collate it as it were, and then present it, you know, to groups like the West Midlands Cancer Alliance as, well, here's what patients are saying, here's what carers are saying locally, and feed that into the system. So that's the idea. Claire, I think you had your hand up, didn't you?
Yeah, I was just saying, we've got a local cancer support group list, if you'd like me to send that to you, with the local sort of leukemia care reps and so forth. You want those contacts.
Yeah, and I've obviously got the cancer app that we've had from Ben, which is really useful.
Yeah.
and I share that with people as
some of
and when. That is such a good piece of
Yeah.
kit.
So the contact should be on that because Ben's got the support group list, but I can email it if you just have a look at if you want to.
Yeah.
So there'll be, she say overcome, but there'll be
Yeah.
prostate group, there'll be the breast support group, and what's going on for any other tumour sites locally, like colorectal, that sort of thing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, we're probably talking to them anyway, but
Yeah,
so
sure.
this is really to try to get them to think about, you know, a more formal, to become associated, if you like, with Health Watch is what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Sonia. I'll start putting that information into the chat now.
Lovely, thank you, Chris. Okay, we'll move on to some more news. Anne, you're next on my screen going round. Do you want to just give us any news from your service? What's been going on?
A little bit like Lynn, I think it's been unnervingly quieter because it has been so manic in the past. But I'm starting to wonder whether it's because we're not getting the diagnosis as quickly and people are struggling to see their GPs and things like that, because that is an issue. It is a big issue in the background still. I don't know. I'm going to touch wood too, Lynn, because I'm frightened. I'm frightened. You know, to be at this nice pace is a bit odd, and I feel like it's going to be a tsunami all of a sudden, because there is also, you know, sort of the glimmer of the light at the end of the tunnel, and they seem to be bashing through these waiting lists at a phenomenal rate at the moment, you know, consultants working very late evening hours and things like that. So maybe we'll start getting that tsunami coming through.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it could be a bit quiet because obviously they've had a few strikes of consultants that
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't quite. It's just a little bit unnerving.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit
Okay,
unnerving, but
build your strength. Take
yeah, maybe.
Are you
But
seeing any sort of patterns with it? I mean, obviously it is perhaps due to diagnosis, but anything sort of, any other sort of things that you feel are happening out there?
no, a lot more people struggling with you know, long-term sickness and not being paid, and you know, that is really biting. So I'm getting a lot more of that. But of course, it's more than I don't just see the cancer people. Unlike you know, it's the Parkinson's, the motor neurone, all of the above. So
Yeah.
it's a wider group of people that I'm seeing affected in a similar way. But I do think that the debt issue is going to be much more
Come to the fore, yeah.
broad.
Yeah.
I'm
Lovely.
noticing that more people terrified about mortgages and, you know, keeping the roof over their head at the moment.
Well, yes, it's people that would have managed previously, but with the cost of living and what
Yeah,
have you,
it is cumulative, and I do think that is starting to see that regularly now. There's not many people that aren't touched by it.
I know when I was on the front line advising, I would quite often make calls to referrals, and the people would almost be reluctant. You know, they would say, "Oh no, I'm okay, dear. I don't need to claim any benefits, but you know, we've got a little bit of savings or what have you." But I think that's less and
that's a
less
thing of the
happening,
past.
you know.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Anne. That's great.
Okay.
Sally, I don't think it's quite the same with Worcester Macmillan, is it? We're volume wise.
No, I hate to offer a different view, but I mean we've been always busy, but the last week the volume of referrals from hospital and via self-referrals, it was a massive amount last week. And I've just looked at our referrals today, and Ange and I are going to struggle to get through this week what we've got outstanding already. So yeah, it's a massive uptick in referrals, and it was high already. So sorry to say that.
No.
Is that just a whole range of specialties, a whole,
It's
SR1s or-
absolutely, yeah, it's absolutely across the cancer services. Very high number of hospital referrals, very high SR1s, and a lot of self-referrals. Yeah, sorry, I'm looking a bit aghast because I'm used to it being busy, but this is a significant uptick again, if that's humanly possible.
Yeah. Okay. Andrew, obviously you speak to those clients that Sally refers to you. Are you seeing any patterns at all? Is there anything that you know, is it cost of living?
I haven't noticed one. I mean, they just keep coming in steadily, so I sort of churning through them, but I haven't noticed a slowdown or anything, certainly.
The situations the clients are in, is that still sort of impacted with the cost of living and the
Yes, yeah, I
of
think,
it all?
yeah, a lot more people wanting checking for some means tested benefits that wouldn't have done before. Like you say, even people who would be eligible for them but just not interested in claiming them are now interested in claiming them.
Yeah.
And the Macmillan grant as well has been halved, so it's only £200 now. So it's I mean, it's still useful, but it's less useful than it was before. So it just feels like there's a lot less help available for people.
The eligibility criteria as well, isn't it? You know,
yeah, they allow a lot less savings, or yeah.
Yeah, there's something. Obviously, we're going to meet with our new partnership manager tomorrow. That's something, you know, we can feed back as well. Obviously, Macmillan as a charity, their funds have been impacted the same as a lot of charities over the last couple of years, but it's needs thinking about where is this money being directed, isn't it, really, and who needs the help. If you've got, because I know sometimes you do sort of see people that need grants and what have you. Have you seen a lot of people that you've had to sort of disregard that would normally be able to perhaps signpost the national helpline or that sort of thing?
Sorry, were you talking to me there, Sonia?
Yeah, sorry, Claire, because I know sometimes you will perhaps signpost patients to the national helpline, you know, perhaps for grants and things like that. Are you seeing sort of different?
I think certainly when you know, South Worcester, we were struggling, and the CAB, Sally and teams were struggling with you know, recruiting stuff and everything. Well, you're in that period between.
Yeah.
And we do, but obviously our first port of call is to Worcester. And I mean, like Sally said, we're just, I'm worried that I'm missing referrals. It's getting like that, so I keep having to write them all down and then write myself notes to say I need to chase this and I need to chase that, because that, you know, and Sally and I are constantly emailing each other about SR1s or just to try and do what we can. I mean, and Kim and I sitting here talking about, we are inundated with blue badges as well at the moment, so that was one thing we tried to pick up more so to support our CAB teams. But it's yeah.
What is it like? Anne's thoughts was the consultants are getting through things. I mean, is that what you're? Do you think they're actually getting to more clients at the consultant for?
I mean, I think as we get to grow as a team, and we are liaising with more consultants, and their clinics, as you said, are running later, and you know, I'm working later hours and the clinics are still working. We get more drop-ins and more referrals, you know, sort of up to 6 o'clock, and it's the floodgates are open. And I think, as Sally said, you know, we thought we were busy before. it's it varies. Drop-ins still vary from steady to mad, but that combined with the actual rate of the email referrals now coming from the CNSs and oncologists and radiotherapists and chemo suites, you know, and as I say, we've been doing more blue badges. In fact, we were just sort of thinking, oh, can I refer more blue badges to you, Sally? But maybe not. But it you know, it's just how it is, really. The good news for us is that we've taken on in Worcester, a couple of really good volunteers, who are sort of in training at the moment. But one who is literally just retired CNS, so she knows, she's got a lot of clinical experience. She's really good, and she's looking at doing 2 sessions a week. So I think she's going to be a real help to us with supporting us with completing blue badges and referring. Having said that, that is potentially going to increase referral to our CAB teams. We are referring straight to the hospices as well, to Kemp and to St Richards and everywhere, to try and support. And when we can go back to our national teams again, but yeah, just give us the heads up if you want us to refer. But obviously, you know, we feel very comfortable knowing how good Andrew and Lisa are, and that makes us feel very safe that all of our patients are going to get a really good service. But
that's obviously the preference, isn't it?
Yeah,
we work well together, and the clients, the patients like the local service. So you know, we just have to monitor it week by week and see where we're going. But I think there's possibly a case for increased resources, but whether Macmillan would fund that, is another thing. But that's something we could discuss with the partnership. And Jessica's our new partnership manager, meeting her for the first time, as I say, since Tudor's taken redundancy. We'll see how that goes and what her view is on the whole resourcing of the service.
It's I think the jury's out at the moment, isn't it, with the discussions on with Macmillan in terms of what services they are
funding,
shrinking a little bit in certain areas, haven't they? And I think, as I said last time, the Macmillan pods, you know, we've had endless discussions and planning with architects about making the atrium pod at Worcester more user friendly, less noisy, and but that's not going to happen, I don't think.
It is the resources, the financial resources, isn't it? We'll see. Well, the conversation to see. Oh, thank you, Claire. Lovely. Lisa, do you, I know your connection wasn't brilliant, but did you want to say anything at all? Because you've been in the role a little while now and contributing loads.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, just sort of just going along with what sort of backing up what Sally is saying. And I think the other thing that I find is family members are getting very more agitated and frustrated about about the reality of what little financial support is available, but I think from a Wye Forest Citizens Advice background as well, I think that's just across the board generally, from people are frustrated. I've just started to see that more with relatives when I'm sort of, unfortunately, sort of not able to offer a lot of financial support for them. But like I said, I think that's across the board, really.
I think we're probably seeing clients who have already had a benefit check or what have you, or looked into their benefits before they get referred. I think we've got a magic one, maybe. Lovely. Thank you, Lisa. Teresa, obviously you working with Lisa. Anything you'd like to add at all?
Not really. I think everybody said it, from hospices to Andrew to Lisa and and Sally and Claire. I think altogether everybody's just waiting, like you say. But we're really busy, and like Lisa just said, that's something that I've picked up on. It is when you can't give any financial assistance that it's difficult. It's because people are really struggling, and like Macmillan grants have gone down, and it's just so difficult, isn't it, when you can't offer any help. Because the other thing about Macmillan grants is the amount of savings they're allowed to have as well. So that's gone down to £1,000 from, what was it, 6,000 or 7,000, something like
A
that.
big difference. A big
Yeah,
difference.
yeah. So there's a lot more people that were actually saying, well, you don't qualify for one of those. So that can be difficult, because a lot of them come thinking they can have one, and then you say, oh, sorry, you've got too much in savings, or whatever it is.
Yeah,
So
I think it's managing expectations, isn't it? When we
yeah,
start off
yeah,
the relationship with the client, or the initial contact, is that
yeah,
we'll see if there's anything available, but the whole landscape's changed a bit for grants and supports and things like that.
yeah.
Okay, lovely. Thank you, Teresa. Jeanette, are you there? Would you like to say anything about what you're up to?
So it continues to be busy at the ICB, as you would expect. Part of my work with the Living With and Beyond programme is looking at the person-centred follow-up pathways. So we've already delivered the breast person-centred follow-up pathway, and also colorectal and endometrial, and we're currently looking at ovarian and also Hodgkin's lymphoma as part of the haematology profile. So we've written the specs, drafted the specs, so specifications, and also are underway to fixing any IET issues that would be a barrier to going live. So that's part of what we're doing with Living With and Beyond Cancer. We're also awaiting from West Midlands Cancer Alliance the targeted funding, so we can kind of see what we can spend and where. Hopefully some of that funding will go towards late effect services for those cancer patients who then go on to unfortunately have late effects. So that'll be an interesting piece of work if that's funded. And we're also working with the trusts across both counties to ensure that we have robust data for the HNA completions and the mine escapes me, and the Living With and Beyond interventions. So looking at the end of treatment summaries and the health and wellbeing support and cancer care reviews as well. We're also looking at doing some extra work around psychosocial support following the report that came out. So we need to work with the trusts, and we're scoping as well for prehab and physical activity. So lots going on, as you would expect. That's it in a nutshell from me, with by way of updates.
Lovely, thank you, Jeanette. Claire, I don't know whether you're still in that busy room, Claire Williams, whether you wanted to say anything.
I've messed up with the settings. Is that better?
Oh, lovely. Yes, we can hear you. Yes, good.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
I still in the office, but
your world.
So very similar to what Claire and Kim are saying, really, because a lot of it goes through there. But one thing that I have noticed through a project that I've been doing through 104-day breach reports for patients that are delayed in treatment. So they're the ones that have waited more than 104 days from diagnosis to start of definitive treatment. We've looked at some that are kind of just going through that now, just being discussed with teams about starting, but also gone back about 18 months and looking at patients that have effectively had a delay but have also had treatment, whatever that might be, and have been kind of treated or cancer cured from their initial cancer for up to about 18 months. And actually I spoke to a chap yesterday who's really struggling. His wife has been diagnosed with fibromyalgia. He's struggling post-cancer treatment. He's actually relapsing, so he's due more treatment. And they're struggling now, but have actually been struggling for quite a while, but just assumed they wouldn't be entitled to anything because they both work. So I think what I found actually is there's people, both current and going back some months, years, that either didn't realise that they could have access to this, or perhaps like this gentleman yesterday wouldn't have pursued it because they both work and that's it. So I think we're still finding people that are a bit like somebody said earlier, the delays in treatment or delays getting through your GP, and people are definitely presenting at an iller health than they would have done beforehand. But also those that are treated and have almost come out the other side are still struggling, whether it be late effects like Jeanette's just said, unable to return to work as they would have done or wanted to do. So yeah, that's been quite interesting to find that out really. And myself, I've done quite a few referrals from this project for people that are still in need financially and hugely support wise as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's been quite interesting.
Oh, that's useful to have that perspective, Chloe. Yeah, that's great. So I think I haven't missed anybody this time. I'm quite good at missing people.
So, Sonia, really sorry. Chris has got his hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chris. Oh, yes,
That's
you
okay.
have a hand up. Yes.
Yeah, I finally figured out where it was on the bottom of the screen there. Sorry, this is a question for Jeanette. I tried to get in while you were talking, Jeanette. I'm just
Sorry.
curious.
I'm
Hey,
also not used to Zoom either, so
no,
I'm only used to Teams for a while. Sorry.
yeah, exactly. Question about the patient-centered follow-up. I was just curious as to how that's going with patients. You know, how are they adapting to that? Have you got any kind of thoughts on that, please?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, person-centered follow-ups isn't necessarily a new thing anymore. It's been going on for a number of years, and it's just a case of rolling out specialties as and when defined by the West Midlands Cancer Alliance priorities. So the first 3 to get rolled out was prostate, colorectal, and breast. Those were defined as the key areas, and presumably because of just the volume of patients going through those specialties. But feedback's been brilliant, to be fair. So from a patient perspective, patients seem to be liking the fact that they don't necessarily need to physically make that journey into hospital and need to be examined and re-seen there. And also the fact that they've also got a defined route back into clinical support. So for instance, for breast or for colorectal, you've got a 3-year or a 5-year time period where you've got a CNS just at the end of a telephone. And, you know, the CNS is absolutely amazing in the sense that they provide that emotional support that's needed. They're also a signposting service to anything else that might be needed. Any signs of reoccurrence, and the patient then doesn't necessarily have to go back through their GP as a possible 2-week wait, or what used to be a 2-week wait. They've got that direct line and they trust their CNSs. So it's a really, really useful support system from a clinical and emotional perspective, and also from freeing up clinician times as well. So for breast, that's a particular success story. So what the aim of the whole process is to partly to you know, enable a better patient experience, but also to free up clinicians' time and manage it better and manage that demand better. So what they're actually seeing is those more complex patients on a face-to-face basis, and those patients that don't necessarily need that face-to-face can then be managed remotely, but with a safety net of they've always got a key back into the system. So it's, sorry, my mute's going on and off. So it's been seen as really, really positive.
No, that's really useful to hear that. Thank you. So there's just one supplementary question. So does this mean that they keep their reviews, as it were, and they have this on top of their reviews, as it were, annual or
Yeah,
yeah.
So any diagnostics or any reviews that would be in place still happen. So
Yeah.
at the point of MDT, the clinicians will make that decision whether or not they think that patient is suitable for a person-centered follow-up. So, you know, it's a very individualistic thing. So not everybody will be right for that, or the patient will actually say, hang on, I just want to be seen face to face and have that assurance. So
Yeah.
it's very much down to what the patient wants as well. but the clinician will make that decision at MDT as to who they think is suitable and who isn't. At that point, they'll then be placed onto a person-centred follow-up pathway, and they'll then receive their H&As in the same way, they'll receive their treatment in the same way, they'll go back to the GP and get a cancer care review in the same way. It just means that within that specialty follow-up of, say, 3 or 5 years, depending on which specialty, you then go back via that one route to your CNS, who then, if you say, hang on, I think I've got signs of reoccurrence, they'll then bring you back in for further testing, and it's a faster route in, as opposed to, because there's some patients that, you know, we've spoke to different patients when we did our engagement sessions, that after sort of 3 years or what have you, if they suspect something, they kind of sit on it sometimes because they don't want to then go back or, you know, or be a nuisance or actually have that realization of something has come back again. So it's really, really beneficial, really, really useful.
That's really good feedback. Thank you very much.
I'm very positive about PC
Yeah,
reviews.
yeah.
I just think I can see
Yeah.
the difference that it actually makes. And
Yeah.
you know, sometimes that going back into hospital, patients, you know, it's just that physical. First of all, it's the journey, then it's the hassle of parking in the car park, then there's the additional costs of the actual parking, then you have to wait to be seen, then you eventually do get to be, and it's so traumatic, isn't it? Just like the whole experience. Whereas if it can be managed differently and the patient's happy with that, and you get a speedy way back in if you suspect any kind of signs of reoccurrence, I just think it's a much better system.
Really useful. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Lovely. So have I missed anybody or any hands? I don't think. Right, so that's great. It was lovely to catch up with you. If we just pencil in the next date, we said 4 months. I'm just looking at the calendar. So that'd be August. Tuesday the 13th. Does that suit everyone? Apologise for postponing this one. Unfortunately, it's quite a reactive role, mine, and booking a little way ahead. Sometimes I do need to do something for the frontline service, but yeah, we're Tuesday the 13th, if that suits anyone at 10. Yeah, lovely. Great to see you all, and we'll circulate the recording links if you want, if you've missed anything or want to make some notes. Okay. Lovely. Thank you all. See you soon. Yeah, take care.
Thank you, Sonia. Thank you.